Yes, indeedy. Good evening and welcome to 2023. I'm your host, Paul Francis, and you are listening to me live tonight here on United Public Radio Network 105.3, 107.7 FM, coming to you live from the very, very beautiful New Orleans. Now, how are you? And happy New Year. I'm wishing you all the very best. Sherry Finley is in here already. Sherry Finley, how are you, darling? Welcome to the show. It's lovely to see you. And I'm just having a look because already I've got Lynn, Sherry, lovely to see you. Love your intro, it says from Facebook user. He says, quickly working hard as to get on to find out who Facebook user is. But anyway, welcome to the show. So, we've crossed the threshold. It's Trudy Hall. Trudy's in here. First time able to make it. I am excited, says my lovely Facebook user. I'm not too sure who you are, but I'm working on finding out who that is. Give me 1 second till I find out who that is. But I'm pressing buttons over here to try and say, what'll happen is I'm going to go on to YouTube or Facebook, sorry, on another page, and that other page will tell me who's talking to me. I hope, fingers crossed. And he says pushing so many buttons, and you think, he said, well, shouldn't you have this done already? Yeah, I should really. But you know what? It's a new year, and I'm getting my head into the game. Let's have a look who else is on. So Sherry's in the room, Lynn's in the room. Lovely to see you. Keely Durant. Keely Durant is I'm going to assume that might be Keely who's talking to me. Right, okay, listen, I've got these comments coming up here now, and by the looks of things, yes! Sue's in the room. Sue Vinicum is lovely to see you, Sue, by the way. Lynn loves the Jane Bond intro. Well, if you notice that, the weird thing about it is, I don't know how it happened, but I ended up with Paul Francis 007, and that was on my TikTok, my TikTok links, and I don't know how or why that happened, but it happened nonetheless. So we were working on the new intros quite recently, and the new intro, one of the guys said, listen, what about this? And I looked at it and I went, yes, we got to have that. It looked so cool. And we've got a new outro to the show, and look who it is. It's Fiona Stewart-Williams and Jean Prescott. Well, Fiona, welcome to the show. A very, very happy new year to y'all. No matter where you are, whether you're in the United States, whether you're in the UK, in my beautiful home country of Ireland, where Fiona's from, and I've got people texting me to say they're watching me from Spain. I've got people watching me from Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and where else? I can't work out where that other one is, but anyway, no problem. Keely, I apologize. Why would you? Sherry, don't apologize. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it very, very much. Like I say, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here, and I do hope your transition into 2023 was calm, collective, and full of love and light. We're going to talk a wee bit tonight about how to get yourself set up. Oh, I'm in Derry, says Fiona. I'm in Derry. I'm not going to use it. If I use a really strong Irish accent, they just won't understand me. So I've got to keep my accent calm. Over the last 30 odd years, I've actually ended up, my accent's got even softer. I can hear myself talking on another phone over here, so I've just got to bring that down a bit. He says, trying to do it. There we go. Trudy's in Cornwall. Keely, Sherry, where are you from? Go for it, FSW. Fiona Stewart-Williams, I like it. Go for it. Well, Fiona Stewart-Williams talks like it's here. Now, here, listen, I've got somebody coming through for you. I bet she's looking at me going, what in God's name are you doing? Like tonight, Arkansas, beautiful Arkansas, Sherry's coming up from. Hello, I had difficulty in finding you, but I'm here now. Who are you that you had difficulty in finding me? But Happy New Year. Thank you for a Happy New Year. Wonderful for you to say that. I appreciate it very much. Sue says to me, evening, Paul. Evening, Sue, and how's it going? You all right, darling? Are you doing well? Trudy's excellent. Thanks. Good to hear. I'm just going through all the messages that are coming flying through already. That's so cool. As Jean from Prescott. Jean, good evening, my darling. Welcome to the show. Don't forget, guys, you'd be helping me out so much if you share the show. Now, all of to our lovely listeners who are listening to me on the wonderful FM radio network waves going right throughout the United States from beautiful New Orleans, welcome and a very, very happy New Year to you. So we've got Arkansas, we've got Minnesota, we've got Eastbourne and Sussex, South Dakota. Oh, keep it coming, guys. Keep it coming. Get in here, say hi, and make yourself a part of our show. So if you have never watched me before, if you're a first timer, you're very, very welcome. I am open to questions and answers. In fact, I've got some great news to share with you that you're going to love. Okay, I'm going to share that with you shortly. A big, huge thank you to all of the people who contacted me between Christmas and New Year, and just post New Year, to say, hey, guess what? I got your book. Thank you very much. I am glad some people went out there and purchased. Well, I've got about 5 books out there, but everybody comes to me and say to me, we really love reading The Safeway. I've got a lovely person who's just joined me from Somerset, isn't it? Right. Phil and Wendy are joining us. Wendy's with us. It's so great to see. We've got Chantel from London. Chantel, welcome. Lovely to see you. Thanks very much. It's so. I'll tell you what. My heart's full of love tonight. Seeing so many people come in here. But like I was saying, a lot of you contacted me saying about the book and how much you're enjoying it, and is it possible for me to actually sign them? Yes, of course. I'll sign any and all books. I have no problems with it whatsoever. In fact, I'll be having a set of books of the last. I did 3 versions of The Safeway, because when I initially had written The Safeway, I had written it way beyond its first publication, and then I did an updated version, and then I decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do the completed version, which I'd set out to do in the first place, and that is the final version. That's the version that it won't be updated, it won't be readdressed. It's the final version. It's, in fact, I called it the deluxe version. I can really speak. Angela's Eckwall from Glenwood City. Angela, welcome to the show. How cool. It's Jules. Jules, it's me, Jules. I'm from Somerset. People will be going, where's Somerset? Somerset is a beautiful county in the south, well, kind of southwest of the UK. Beautiful, stunningly beautiful county in the southwest of the UK. Paul, I didn't know you had books. Please share that later in the link. You can get the Sherry. All my book links are on my website. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me just help you. And if I just do that, if you see my page now, you'll be able to see where you can get the links to the books. They're on there as we speak now. Like I say, Happy New Year to you all. And Angela, welcome all the way from Glenwood City. What is that? Washington, WI? I'm not too sure what that is. Yeah, so I've got several books out. The main book is The Safeway, which I was initially approached by spiritual churches who actually said, listen, you're very, very big into this psychic protection, and could you write a paper on psychic protection and spiritual protection and present it in the spiritual churches? And I said, yeah, of course I will. So I started the books, as Wisconsin, Angela said, has put me right. Tell you what, gorgeous. I hope you guys have still got that beautiful white. I saw a lot of pictures coming across from friends of mine from the United States, and they had that beautiful snow. Well, some of it was very, very dangerous, and a lot of people passed away, and I'm really, really sorry for that. But when you're here in the UK and you get to see those beautiful landscapes and mountains all covered in snow, to us, when we're looking at that, it's stunningly beautiful. For all of the people who went through that serious bad storm and blizzard, for all of you who sadly lost your friends and family, I am sending out my prayers, my angels, and my love to you now, unconditionally. It's a sorrowful time to lose people. it's the holidays are the worst time. I think it's bad enough to have to lose someone at any given time of the year, but it's even harder around the holidays. I was mind blown yesterday. Yesterday, I only found out that the Pope who had resigned had passed away, and I was like, I didn't even know that had happened. So, what was I doing? Now, like I say, the book that was the first, well, the first, second, and third versions of the Safe Way were all written primarily initially to protect people with regards to energy and psychic. You could even say psychic warfare, because some people have come to me with so many different challenges that it was almost psychic warfare. But it's about how to deal with energy, how you can protect yourself, absolutely. What energy is, how to work with it, how to make it work to your benefit, and a lot more besides that. In fact, one of my dear friends calls it her Bible. She says, I read it daily. She goes, and every single time I read it, I learn more stuff. As I say, I was approached initially to write it for spiritual churches, and they were saying, can you do this? And can you make this work for us? And I said, yeah, of course I can. So, and out of that, it progressed. It progressed from a paper into a small book, into a bigger book, and then finally into a full-size book, which is still available on Amazon and various other big book outlets. But you can, if you go directly to my website, you can get it directly from there. Okay, now that brings me back to what I wanted to talk about. I'm having a pile of those books sent to me here at my home, and I will be signing those books. So if you want to purchase one of those books signed by me, that I can make happen. So that's what I wanted to share with you. So exciting news. Next Monday, so the next Spirit Quest show is on Thursday, the 12th of January. So that's next. So it's every Thursday I'll be doing this show, Spirit Quest. A show that I'm so glad I decided, yes, I'm going to do that, because I wanted to do this here for some time. I wanted to do a show that was going to be more of a talk show, more of an interactive chat show where we can share what we've learned, and I can bring in people who are mediums and psychics, and phenomenal mediums and psychics. And in fact, I'm just a wonderful link, because I have an amazing friend who's going to come on later on tonight, Wendy, my beautiful pal Wendy, who I've learned so much from, but has been a friend of mine in not only in our work, but also in the radio world way back, many moons back, when I used to do Spirit Quest Radio. And I'm so glad that the show has progressed from a radio show up into a talk show, because that was my whole plan all the way along. And when Michelle and the beautiful Amelia said, listen, we can make that happen, and here we are. I tell you what, I'm just, every day I'm grateful. I'm very grateful. I don't wait for one day of the year to be thankful. I try and make that happen every day. Phil and Wendy's Jean Prescott. Yes, got it. Thank you for that. So I'm trying to find out who it is that's talking to me, because unfortunately, some of you can see, it just says Facebook user, which is a real pain in the rear, to be absolutely honest with you, because it doesn't tell me who the Facebook user is. So as I was saying, Wendy Kirby, who's oh my goodness, we've been friends for so long. She's now going to be coming on to have a chat with us tonight, because I like to hear from people about sort of how they perceive the work and what they do to set themselves up for the year ahead. So I've asked Wendy to say, listen, do you fancy coming on and having a chat with all of our listeners worldwide? Oh, by the way, the numbers for last week's show, I was so grateful to hear. 167,000 listeners. My gosh, thank you very much. Tell you what, do you fancy coming with me and we'll double that? Let's make it 250,000. Let's get it up to 250,000. Share the show. Get it out there. Share it with your friends. Share it with your families. Get it into your groups and get all you people to come along. Get all of your friends to come along, and we'll have a party. We'll have a chat. We'll do Q&A. I'll bring in specialists in their fields, and we can talk about different subjects each week. How does that sound? Because I tell you what, I'm up for it. I am most definitely up for it. Now, Trudy says, think they need to register with StreamServe and get their names on the show. There you go. So Trudy, if you could put up a wee message there in the chat room about how they do that, that'd be fantastic. I don't know about the how it's done or anything like that, but I tell you what, if you can put a wee note up there for me, Trudy or Lynn or both, and tell everybody how they do this link up, then people can come and join, and I can see them straight off the bat. Let's have a look. Sue says sign multiple. I hope so, Sue. I've got a lot of people that I want to bring onto the show, and we'll spend some time talking with them, and hopefully we'll get some amazing information from them as well, so we can share it with everybody else. Now, as I say, I'm coming to you tonight, United Public Radio Network, 105.3 and 107.7 FM, coming to you from the beautiful, beautiful New Orleans. Now, the other thing, some of you will know my show called Reach Across. Now, Reach Across was always on Facebook Live every Monday night at 8 p.m., 7:30, 8 p.m. I have my show Reach Across. Now, that Reach Across is all about reads and all about talking about the spiritual connections, all about how to work, how I work with the spiritual energies and how I get information through. And of course, I use angelic cards. And that is all about Reach Across, hence the name. Well, Reach Across is coming onto this network. Yes, we're coming here live next Monday night. So that's Monday the 9th. Reach Across will be coming live on this network from 8 p.m. GMT. So 8 p.m. London time. I'm not too sure what that is in your time zone, but if you figure it out, it'll probably be an afternoon show for you guys. But so my show where I do all reads and I do Q&A about, you basically ask me questions and I start doing the reads about based upon the energy that comes in and links in with me. So it's all kind of like the psychic work and the mediumship all comes together in that show, Reach Across, live next week here from 8 p.m. London time. Phil says, "Hey Paul, I'm having to come on with Phil, Wendy, and it's me, Wendy." That's not confusing at all, is it? No, not remotely confusing. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do, Wendy. So Wendy's chatting in the room, but Wendy will be coming live onto the show very shortly because I'll be sending her a very special invite, and she will click that invite and she'll come onto the show, and it's going to be that easy. So now, I wanted to start. A lot of people say to me, "Right, okay, what do you do to get yourself ready? How do you get ready for the year?" Now, I could teach you multiples and multiples and multiples of ways of how to do different, sort of exercises and different sort of things to do about, for an example, one of my favorite meditations is called The Clearing. In fact, that's available to you on my YouTube channel. If you go onto my YouTube channel, Paul Francis Medium, Paul Francis Psychic, on YouTube channel, there will be a video called The Clearing. All right, I put that up there free of charge. I can give you multiples of different meditations to do. I can give you multiples of exercises to do, tasks and things to do. I can teach you everything to do about clearing energy in your home, your car, your workspace, yourself. But none of it will work unless you absolutely believe in yourself. That is the golden key to success, no matter what it is that you want to do. I'm not talking specifically about psychic development or spiritual development, personal development. Your self-belief is the golden key. So if I give you all of these amazing things to do with, sound and smoke clearing and chanting and meditation and prayer, and I give you all of the techniques that we use to break down and get rid of negative energy. If you do not believe it totally, and you do not believe in yourself, then you just as well be singing a nursery rhyme, because it will not work. It is that simple. A lot of what we do is used in a lot of different religions throughout the world. Okay, a lot of the techniques that is in place for psychic and personal development, mediumship, is used in a lot of different religions throughout the world. They're all very similar. And it's all about dealing with energy, and the energy of the Holy Spirit, the energy of the personal spirit, the energy of the spirit around the area in which you're working, the energy and the spirit that's in your home, how to deal with that. For example, I was in a house this afternoon that is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years old. Okay, and in some parts of the house, when I went into which sort of parts of it, like a ballroom, for example, I was in a ballroom, and the energy in there was so vibrant and upbeat, and I was like, oh, I like this. And yet I went to another bedroom, and the energy was so heavy and not so good, not so nice. So what do? Do I go and clear the entire house? So I clear away the good energy and clear away the bad? Or how do I break that down? How do I work with it? Okay, so I know what I need to do about that particular energy in that particular home, but I know and I believe in myself and my abilities, and I believe in what I'm doing and all of the techniques that have been tested and tried and worked with throughout hundreds of years of working with energy and spirit. I know what this is, what it's for, and why I'm doing it. Okay, but if you don't have that self-belief, then, as I say, you just as well be singing a nursery rhyme. Now, that is the golden key. That is how you should start the new year. So going into 2023, it's a belief in yourself. It's bringing the belief in your own abilities to achieve whatever it is you want to achieve. And what it is, honestly, whatever you want to achieve isn't the most important thing. What is your ability and believing that you can achieve it. You understand? So I want to talk a little bit about that. And as I say, my darling pal Wendy will be coming live onto the show in a little while. I'm going to be talking to her about her techniques, about getting ready for what she's been dealing with, and maybe I can even help her in situations and scenarios that she might want a wee bit of a hand with. And if I can help her in areas of her life, then you might be able to learn from that as well. So that's the whole idea of a chat show. We learn from each other. As the great Robin Williams said, one of my favorite hero actors who played the character Patch Adams in the movie Patch Adams, he said, every doctor is a patient and every patient is a doctor. And I never forgot that, because every psychic medium is a teacher, but also a client. So you never, ever, ever stop learning. And anybody who thinks that they know it all, those are the people you really don't want to be around. Those are the people you do not want to be about, okay? And a lot of people who jump straight into, well, that's a demon. Those are the ones you really want to be not too far from. Like, well, keep your distance. Anyway, moving forward, if you've got some questions for me tonight, you're going to have the option to ask them for me, and I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. So put your questions for me about what you want to do in this year, and I'll maybe give you some hints and tips and ideas of how to get to that. So if you go onto YouTube and you look for Paul Francis and The Clearing, you'll be able to get a meditation free to download. I did it deliberately so that you can have it and use it. But remember, when you go in to do this meditation, first of all, don't be driving. Don't be using any heavy machinery or anything like that. And be sensible. But when you go into the meditation, know why it is you're going to do it. Know what it is that you want to do it for. We got another idiot who's decided to jump on to the show. Let me just quickly just jump in here and see if I can get this. We got a person who is they're not that good. You can tell psychic and mediums who come on to the show, they're not that good because they have to jump in and try and use other people's shows to acquire clients, and this Melangular Chris or Mingin Chris, that's a person who we're going to delete their comments and we're going to block the user because they're clearly idiots. So and if you guys could take the time there to go and report that person, that'd be fantastic. So, now, coming after the show tonight as well, don't forget you have the beautiful Michelle de Rocher and Amelia Pisano and the Outer Realm. Their show coming right up after mine tonight. Make sure you hang around and support their show. I watch it on feedback because it's obviously, by the time I finish my show, it's 1:30 in the morning. So I tend to watch their show on feedback, and it's just mesmerizing. It is an amazing show. Stick around after this show tonight, and you will be able to see the Outer Realm featuring Michelle and Amelia. Just absolutely mind-blowing. Right, back to what we're talking about tonight. The how to set yourself up for this particular year. If you've got any particular questions, then put them to me, and I will get on with trying to help you on those fronts. Now, before I go even further into the show, I just want to tell you guys that I had a message from some of our listeners last week to say that they were enjoying the show, and all of a sudden it all stopped. I'm really sorry to say that really wasn't anything to do with us here. It was a technical issue online that we couldn't actually trace. So it's actually back to where this whole system is put together, and it was down there that unfortunately it happened. So if it happens again, just come off the show and then come back onto the show, and you should be able to stick with me for the entirety of the show. We've got some other idiot called Natalie Francis now doing exactly the same, so we'll just block that person. It's amazing when people have to jump on and try and get to use your show as I like that. That must mean they must think that I'm that good that they're going to use my audience as a try and kickstart for their show. Lovely to see, lovely to do. Now, as I say, I'm going to have the beautiful Wendy coming on in roughly 6 minutes time, so stick around for that. Loretta, how are you tonight? I do hope you're well. Thanks very much for being here. Don't forget to share the show. Now, another thing that I've been asked a lot over, actually it was just before Christmas and during the Christmas time, which I can understand why this energy goes a bit askew, but a lot of people were saying, what's the best way to do chakra balancing? Okay, chakra balancing it's not difficult to do. Okay, it's not difficult to do, but once again, it's a matter of taking the time and doing it right. If you do it, trying to do it quickly, you won't get the balance that you really need to do. So to get a proper balancing balance within your chakras, you first need to clear the energy. Okay. Right, so Trudy says, Paul, are you going to be doing any classes this year? Funny you should say that, Trudy. I'm going to be doing some teaching seminars, and they will be coming up later on. Those seminars will be what I'm going to be referring to as mini seminars. Okay, so I'll be doing mini teaching seminars, and those will be for those who want to do an intro into development. So getting to understand what energy is, getting to understand how you affect energy and it affects you, how to balance it, clear it, open it and close it. And that'll be the very first one. And really, I spoke a lot about that in my book, The Safe Way. Now, I had a couple of people who actually used the book. Now, these people were skeptics, and I like skeptics. In fact, I'm a skeptic myself. Okay. And I think skeptics are healthy. All skeptics are healthy. Because skeptics, I mean, they don't necessarily believe in what you're talking about, but they're open to learning. That's skeptic. Skepticism is good. It's healthy. I'm always skeptic myself. If something goes bump in the night, I look for the plausible reason why it went bump before I start looking paranormal. Maria says, can anyone see my comments? Yes, Maria, I can see your comments, my darling. I can see them now. So you weren't getting it right the first time. But anyway, welcome to the show, darling. It's good to see you. I know you hope you're well. Please be aware of people who, so-called psychics, who are jumping onto shows, mine and other shows, and trying to do these dear one, beloved one bollocks. These are the ones that you really, really want to stay well away from, okay? They're the ones who are rip-off merchants. My dear friend Roger and Faye, they get it all the time, which is just terrible. And speaking of the devil, there they go. Hi, Paul. Good to be with you tonight. Faye. Hello, my darling Faye. How wonderful to see you. How are you both doing? And a very happy New Year to you. I was just getting rid of a couple of idiots who were trying to jump in on the show there. And I was just saying about how they tend to do that on yours and Roger's show a lot. So Trudy was mentioning about the teaching seminars. Yes, I will be doing teaching seminars, but I will be limiting the numbers, okay? So when I'm doing teaching seminars, I kind of want to do them in such of a way that I can give each individual person my time. So I'm going to be limiting those numbers to 10. All right. So each time I do a seminar, it will be for 10 people and 10 people only. Alrighty. That way I can give each one of you focused and just basically give you that whole time for myself. Alrighty. You can ask me your Q&A, and I really say the best way to learn is to ask questions, because that way when you ask a question and I give you the answer, you learn, but so does the rest of the class. So Q&A is always the best way to get yourself the data you know, and the data you want, and the data that other people want. So it's a great way to ask questions, and it's a great way to learn. Sometimes the questions are in an area that I may be not totally familiar with, but if I'm not totally familiar in that area, I have the confidence in me to say I don't know, but I do know somebody who does, and I will put somebody who does in front of you. Now, Wendy, as I said, I'm going to bring Wendy on in about, it'll be about 3 minutes now. So I'll be just getting ready to invite Wendy in a second. I'm just getting that together. And Wendy will be coming on. Now, Maria said Jenny Kaiser popped in and couldn't comment and chat either. So Maria, if you have a chat with Trudy or a chat with Lynn, they will tell you how to actually sign in and become a proper person. You know, you can. I'm sorry, I've got these. I'll tell you what, they're coming out of the woodwork tonight. Some other idiots just jumping in trying to use the show. Okay, center yourself, Paul. Focus, relax. Okay, Maria, ask Jenny to contact Trudy or Lynn, and they will tell her how to link onto the show and sign into the show, and then she can chat to me in here. No problem at all. Trudy Hall, bye phone. I've been stopped by Facebook when commenting on your show. Well, you're not, Lynn. Oh, okay. Right, if you're having problems by the looks of things, then jump across to YouTube, okay? Facebook seems to have stopped everybody, but jump across onto YouTube, and you can comment on there. So everybody listening to me tonight, go onto YouTube and follow my show on there. All right, there's several links on that show tonight, and you can go on there. So I wondered why everybody stopped talking. I don't know what's going on. Right, anyway, let's get my lovely pal Wendy on, and I'm just going to send Wendy the link right now. She has, and then she will click that link, and she will be coming on part of our show tonight. So yeah, I can tell Lynn because it's got that little red circle and the arrow on it. So we got fakes, a lot of fakes jumping onto the show tonight. So be aware of those, please. And the funny thing about it is these fakes that are jumping onto the show, they're actually asking people I've taught to contact them for a reading. That's the bit that's making me giggle. Now, another thing is that I want to talk about later on tonight is the 10. That's going to be happening as well. I'm going to go into that. So I'm going to be doing the teaching seminars, but I'm also going to be doing an evening with, and that again will be kept to 10 people. The reason being is I've been offered to do shows, 50 to 100 to 250 people, but I can't give everybody my time. It's like me going onto a stage in a beautiful theater. Yes, I can do however many readings that come through to me on that particular event and that particular show, but I can't give everybody my time. So I decided that when I'm going to do these shows in 2023, I would be stepping back, and I'd be doing it in such a way that I can give each individual person my time. Okay, not just the reads, but my time. So I'm going to be doing what I will refer to as the 10, and those seminars will be coming up once a quarter. That's all, just once a quarter. So in other words, basically it's going to be 4 seminars this year, and if you want to book in for that, we'll get that done. Now, if you want to be booked in for a teaching seminar, then you need to message me or email me at paul@paulfrancis, and or go onto my website, which you can see going across the bottom there, and paul@paulfrancis111.com. Email me about the teaching seminars, and then obviously we can get on with that. So Lynn says, give StreamServe permission to use your name and picture from Facebook for the purpose of commenting, and then your name will come up on our show. So give StreamServe permission to use your name and picture from Facebook for the purpose of commenting, and then your name will come up in our show. So make that happen, Gavin. Now, I've sent Wendy a link, so here's hoping that Wendy's got that link. And she'll be coming to join us very, very shortly, and I'm looking forward to that. Now, the clearing, the meditation about, I've just been getting text messages saying, hey, Paul, what's this clearing malarkey all about? Well, the clearing is all about how to deal with the energy that you have that's around you right now, that can be affecting you. And I'm pretty confident you will have, say for example, you're coming home at night, and you come home from work, and you've enjoyed a day at work, and you come in and you sit down. Oh, here's Wendy. She's just coming into the show now. There we go. Wendy diddly do. Hello, darling. Oh, I'll just wait. Can you hear me, sweetheart?
Hi.
Oh, there she is. There she
Evening.
is. Welcome, my love. How are you? How are you? Are you well?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Oh, breathing.
Yes. Hope everyone else is well in the new year.
And yes, a happy new year. and thank you know what? Thank you very much, my darling, for taking the time out to be a part of the show tonight. I really appreciate it. Thank you very, very much.
It's a pleasure.
And can you hear me? And can you hear me okay?
Bit of a delay in the sound.
Okay, that'll be coming through your system. Don't worry too much about that.
Yes, there's just a slight delay.
That's all right. Just when I speak to you, take a breath, and then you can answer, and that'll give you the delay. That'll get you past the delay is the concept. So I just want to go back in there. I don't know if you were noticing in the comments section, but we've got a lot of idiots jumping in who are claiming to be psychics and trying to do reads. Those are the ones that you need to be really aware of. There's we were talking a wee while back, if you remember, about fake psychics and how many there are. Can you turn up your mic a wee bit there, darling? Have you got the ability to bring your mic up? Oh, there's
I did. I turned it up a bit.
Yeah, good idea. So I can hear you. So I know how I start my year. Yeah, I can hear you now, my love. Yeah, I can hear you quite well. I know how I start my year. I go through a little bit of a ritual, which it's kind of like a mini clearing. But the clearing that I go through is primarily to get rid of say the things that negatively came to me in the year previous. So any negative issues I had to deal with in 2022, I really focus on those and get rid of them. Okay, so what I tend to do in that is I carry through only the good things that happened in that year into the new year. So when I'm charging head first into the new year, and ours being 2023, I really I'm using that as a kind of a battery of positive energy to launch into the new year. So how do you kind of approach the new year in relation to your work and what you do?
I'm not hearing you very well at all, Paul. Sorry, love.
Right, can you turn up your volume a bit? We had this issue with Roger as well, actually, so it wasn't maybe Roger. There's probably an issue. All right. So how do you actually?
Right, it's as high as that'll go.
Okay, we can hear you now. How do you really get yourself into the frame of mind for the new year?
Ignoring this last year, and there's a reason why. Normally, I like to meditate going into the new year, not necessarily over the midnight time, but like maybe sometime on New Year's Eve, taking some time out, read everything about me, my vibration, or another one that's out for a walk. Doesn't matter what weather is, except for blizzard weather. Be raining, a bit windy, you can always wrap up, but get out there in the elements.
You're cutting in and out on us a wee bit there, Wen.
Just let it cleanse you and blow the cobwebs away from the previous year.
Yeah, that's a good. And using Mother Nature as a charger and a cleanser all at the same time.
You know, that's one of my favorites.
That's a good. I like that. That's a really, really good idea. In fact, when I was first being schooled in meditation, my teacher told me to do it under a tree first thing in the morning at dawn. As dawn was rising, he'd say, get a tree that you feel really nice about, that's comfortable, and you feel good under, and meditate under a tree as dawn comes up. I will say though, way back then, I was studying martial arts. I was studying specifically Kung Fu, a couple of different styles of Kung Fu. So meditation was a big thing, and the balancing of chi energy. I didn't realize then that I was actually already beginning to work with spirit. I wasn't, because I was young, very fit, very thin compared to what I'm now. But I was totally immersed in what I was being taught. My mind was all about working with the energy, working with the animals, working with the spirit. And weirdly enough, I wasn't bothered or even interested in the fighting aspect of it. I was really not interested. All of the different, styles and the movement, it was all about that for me. Now, when I look at it, when I'm here and I'm looking at it now, I realize that I was actually being taught the principles of becoming psychic and developing work towards becoming a medium. Back then, I was just thinking, am I the next Bruce Lee? But that clearly wasn't. So, but the connection with the earth is exactly what you were saying, being out there in the winds and the rains and the elements. That is a very big thing in multiculturals around the world. So a lot of different cultures use the elements and the earth as a base or a root. So when you're saying is, when you're out there and you're walking in the elements and you're getting into the wind and the rain and stuff, and you're getting it blowing the cobwebs away, what about rooting yourself? How do you kind of go about doing that?
Well, I know, depending on where you are, you know, it's sitting, finding a spot, or standing on, you know, somewhere safe, and you close your eyes and you just imagine roots growing from the earth, from Mother Earth, and just wrapping around your ankles. That is one of the first basic ways that I do it. I do it just like that now, but I use many different ways. But that was the first one I ever remember in grounding myself and rooting myself down, because I think it's extremely important to have the core of you inside solid, so that nothing else can affect you. You know, it can't knock you off your balance as easy. Whatever life throws at you, if you can keep going back to that centering yourself, grounding yourself, balancing, and you know, you can manage most things that way, I find, anyway.
Well, I mean, that makes sense.
Everyone's different, though.
well, yes, I believe that as well. I believe that there are no two mediums the same. I've always believed that there are no two psychics and two mediums the same, because we're different individual people, so therefore we'll work individually different. Now, in relation to grounding, and you know, when I'm teaching people from the get-go, new people who come to sit in front of me, be it in a class environment or be it in a virtual class, you know, when I'm doing these seminars, I won't even progress with the class until I have them rooted and grounded. Okay, that's the primary for me. So you know, when you know, when my teacher was again way back in the day, I didn't realize what I was being taught. Now I know, but back then I didn't. When he was saying to me, go and sit under a tree as dawn rises with your back against the tree, and I was just thinking, oh yeah, because it's an easy place to sit. But no, it isn't. It's because you're grounding. And what best way to ground yourself but against a tree which is rooted into the earth, you know? So that is a really, you know, it's a great thing to teach people, teach our you know, our audience as well as students for the future. Not a lot of people have the drive and ambition to get up at dawn, though, and go out and meditate. Not a lot of people do that. Although that being said, in springtime,
I'm not aware. Try once.
Weirdly enough, when we get into springtime and summertime, I'm up with the birds. I get up really early. I find myself, as of lately, though, I want to go to bed about 10 o'clock, but whereas before, in the days gone by, I would have been getting ready to go out at 10 o'clock. But this is what happens as we progress down through the years. Now, if you do have the ability, I'm talking to all of our audiences around the world, if you do have the ability to get up and get on with it, try going out there, sitting under a tree as dawn comes up, because the energy is mind-boggling. It's so clear, it's so clean, it's uninterrupted, it's fresh, and it's new.
It is.
And as you sit against a tree, you are already grounding yourself. Now, technically, we do have to teach you how to do that, and that is, there is some great techniques about how to ground yourself, as Wendy was just saying a minute ago about how to do it. My teacher taught me that just put your feet flat on the ground, imagine that there's roots coming out of your feet, going down into the earth, to the center of the earth's core, and wrapping around that, and that'll be, you know, that's a beginning to grounding. There are multiples of ways of grounding yourself, but that is a really, really good way of doing it. I've even heard of techniques where you actually have copper, you know, and have the copper connected to you and into the ground, and that literally is grounding. People use, you know, there's divining rods. They use those to ground. Have multiples and multiples of ways, but grounding is the base and the start. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, the three things that I think are so important on starting your spiritual journey or learning anything about that is your protection, grounding yourself, and being able to open yourself up and close yourself down when you need it. And it all takes practice, and it can't all come at once, but grounding and protection are the two fundamental important ones to start with. And at the start of a new year, what better way to go into the new year?
Yeah, by grounding and get yourself protected, but clearing as well.
But
a clearing for, you know, coming out of one year into another.
Yes,
I think personally, I think it's vital.
You've got to be clear. Yeah.
So, what have you done?
I mean, there's so much that you go through in any certain year. Sorry, it seems to be overlapping. Sorry.
No, that's okay. No, when you stay close to the mic, we get everything you say. When you step back from the mic, you disappear. So, we're obviously there's a wee bit of a tech issue there, but we're getting it. It's working, so don't worry about that. So, what have you got? What have you done? That's kind of like, right? You've said, right, 2023 is my year. What have you got your mind set into doing? What's your goal and your drive that's going to make 2023?
I've got a lot of things.
Oh, Wendy, we're losing you, sweetheart. You're cutting in and out.
Last year, I never got to, and it was because it was decided, right, okay, I'm going to be doing them in 2023, and I'm one of those where I either have the motivation to do it, and I feel chuffed afterwards that I've achieved it, but I get up and go. And sometimes I think, you know, you've got to give yourself goals. One of my goals this year is that I want to complete some driving things that I want to do, and then I also want to sort out my medicinal herb garden outside at the back here, because I'm really wanting to get into medicinal herbs and remedies. But also, I think last year, coming out more and more and becoming more known, I think people help them the that I can, whether it be through mediumship or just sitting and listening to people, because I think that is a gift in itself, and not many people stay quiet enough, let other people talk, offload, and healing.
Well, what a lot of people don't understand is that
well, I want to try.
The word psychic and medium didn't come into play till well later in life. I mean, not until the 1920s, the word psychic and mediumship kept coming, or started coming in. Before that, we were referred to as sensitives, and with the sensitive of the village would not have only just been the psychic medium, but they would have been the healer. They've been working with what you rightly say with herbs and healing remedies, but they would also been the psychologist for the village as well. So you're absolutely right. My teacher taught me when I was first learning to hone my psychic skills and my mediumship. She said, the best psychic mediums listen. And she said, not just to spirit, but to the people in front of them.
Yes.
So what I've taught all of my students through years is as well as have the time to shut up. They're like, what? It's equally as important to shut up as it is to deliver a message. Okay, so you're absolutely right. So having some people can come and they go, I want a reading, but what they really want to do is just offload. And you know, you can, when I sit down with a client these days, I always say, okay, tell me why you want a reading, why do you think you need a reading? You know, people like look at me weirdly when they sit down in front of me, because I say, first and foremost, tell me why it is you want a reading. Why do you think you need a reading? And then with the same points, same thought patterns, I sit down in front of students and I go, why do you want to become a psychic? you know. And if they say to me, "Oh, I think it's cool, and I want to do it on stage," then I tend to tell them to go, goodbye. But if they want to, if they come out with answers like, you know, because something's going on, I want to learn more.
Lonely.
It's you know, I'm sure I've heard you say. Yeah, it isn't an easy journey, and it's more of a discovery.
Sorry,
that's why. And a lot of people are telling me that that it's breaking up because there's bad weather up your part of the world, so it's causing you a bit of grief there. You know, the thing about it becoming and developing yourself is it's about confidence. And I was saying this to you earlier. You know, you can be the best. You can be really, really good at linking in with spirit and linking in with psychic energy, but if you haven't got the confidence in yourself, your delivery tends to be a little bit askew. You know, I've seen some psychic mediums who were phenomenal, but couldn't deliver a message. They just didn't know how to do it properly. And I've seen psychic mediums who think themselves phenomenal and delivering the worst messages I've ever come across ever. In fact, I've had to step in and go, no, stop. You do that's totally
ego as
wrong.
well. They want to run before they can walk. They haven't learned the basics, the fundamentals. They haven't learned enough about topics, about you know, not just what you can do, but what you can't do, what you should do, the consequences. You know, people seem to forget, you know, you send out a bad vibe, well, that's going to come back to you threefold. So, you know, there's got to be like,
I agree with you. You know, that vibration will come back to you threefold.
As well as positive. But egos are terrible at the moment. You know, when I remember back in the late 80s, when I started on my journey, I've connected with spirit from when I was 3, but it went for a while. And then I was 16, I took my first steps in a spiritualist church. Oh, Lordy, you couldn't even have a sweet wrapper rattle. Oh, you know, and like, you know, they have disciplines and they stuck to them. They don't seem to do that now. And it's about respecting spirit. They're doing and coming through, you know, and it's not always easy for them to find the right vibration to come and connect with us on, for them to communicate with us and things like that. And it's a journey just for ourselves. Your guides, to connect with other people's loved ones on all varying energies, vibe, and people don't realize that you've got to learn enough about it all. You can't just learn a few things and then think that you can go and do all this. But then when you're asked questions, nobody knows the answer to them. You don't know the consequences of things. You've got to learn what can be positive, and learn how not to slip into that mode, if you know what I mean. And ego is terrible.
Well, I've got a bit of a sort of thing about ego. Okay, ego isn't ego in the way I know what you mean. Ego is terrible in the way I know what you're trying to portray. But however, the other side of the coin, if you don't have an ego, the ego energy can support your confidence. Okay, so but egotistical people is something completely different. It's like being, you know, skeptics. I say I tell everybody to be skeptical, and the words and so when I get the feedback that I get, and the faces usually when I'm on stage, in the theater somewhere, and I'm going, I need you to be skeptical, and they're like looking at me going, did he just tell us to be skeptical? And I'm like, yeah, I need you to be skeptical, because skepticism means that you're open to learning.
Ask questions.
Cynicism are the ones that I say, if you're a cynic, then go, just come out of the pew, go out of the chair, go down the aisle, go back to the box office, get your money back, and good night, because they're the people who just don't want to learn. But now going back to ego is not, it's not always bad. Okay. If ego is checked,
no, I mean there's good and bad with everything. I should have said egotistic. Yeah.
No, I knew what you meant, but I've had this conversation with multiple mediums. I mean, I when I first met Colin, our friend Colin, his ego was all over the place. In fact, he and I clashed. Colin and I clashed when I first met him. In fact, he had me thrown off Living TV, but we're not going to go into that because it's a very tongue-in-cheek.
Really?
Because I was on Living TV with him, and we clashed
as well.
But at the end of many years later, our paths crossed again, and his ego had been checked. And so had mine, by the way. I'm not saying that I was superior to him. Not in any chalk. I had an ego of my own. In fact, when I was training, my ego was through the roof, because people were going, "Oh my God, how do you do that? How are you getting these messages? Oh my God!" I'm going like, "Yeah, I'm super cool. Let me take you for a walk around your eyes." And my ego was through the roof until my teacher put it in place. She put it well in place. And rightly so. But she said to me, what we don't want to do is lose the energy. Okay, we want to keep the energy of the ego, but get rid of the stupidity. And so that's why I've always had this conversation with great mediums like yourself to say, an ego is fine. Egotistical is not that great. But confidence, now, for somebody who I know is a phenomenal psychic like yourself, your confidence lacks, which I don't understand, because I've seen you work and I'm like, oh my God, how do I follow her? And I mean, you could be looking at that as an egotistical thing, and like, how do I follow her? But what I'm saying, I wanted to work with you many times just to get your confidence, because it's kind of like it's like you have a bag of 6 eggs.
I think it's coming.
No, it's there. It's there, because you wouldn't be in this business for this amount of time if it wasn't.
I think, well, and this is what I say to everybody now. I was only saying it to a lady earlier on, and I said to her, you know what? Know your worth. Know your worth. If spirit wants to come and work with you, then that in itself is a blessing. Run with it, indeed, and believe in yourself. Don't let other people hold you back. Unfortunately, throughout the years, I was about another a couple of different people, because I was only learning then, and regardless of what people said, because I believed, I didn't have to come.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening in, I'm really sorry, but Wendy's cutting in and out, and it's due to weather. Okay, what I'm going to do is,
it's terrible up here, the weather.
Yeah, no, that's fine, darling. So don't you worry about that. What I want to do is, I just want to take a second or two.
Said, I'm not.
Sorry, well, you're cutting in and out, my darling, but I'm going to bring you back in a second. Give me 1 second. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Spirit Quest, The Journey of Life, coming to you live from United Public Radio Network on 105.3 and 107.7 FM from beautiful New Orleans on this amazing Thursday night. And this is our very first show of 2023. And I'm joined by the beautiful Wendy, who is a long-term and very respected psychic from the north of England. You can hear that in her wonderful accent. Unfortunately, she's disappeared off me. But we're going to get her back because obviously we're having severe weather issues up where Wendy's from, and we will be bringing her back onto the show momentarily when we do a recheck. And I do hope you're enjoying the show tonight. And we're coming to you live for the very first time in this year. Now, Wendy is a long-term friend of mine and a very respected medium in her own right. And the whole concept that I've been discussing with yourselves, there's Wendy back now, I'll bring her back in. There she is. And the whole concept that we've been talking about is getting yourself ready and prepared for 2023. Now, the idea there is I could teach you a whole pile of techniques. Wendy could teach you a whole pile of techniques, but it's your own self-belief whether or not you're going to make that happen. If you have confidence within yourself, then you have the tools to become successful in everything and anything you do, no matter what that is. Confidence is something that I believe, as much as we teach, Wendy and I teach students to develop their psychic abilities and then move on to develop their mediumships. A lot of people will come to classes and they will learn how to develop the psychic, how to be protective, how to ground and all that malarkey, but they will never become practicing mediums and they will never become practicing psychics because of a lack of confidence. Now, I have watched Wendy in action and thought to myself, there is no way I'm following her. Okay, because my confidence gets shot. Yet I'm talking to a beautiful lady who doesn't believe in herself half the time. Would you? And she's looking at me going, "Yeah, well, you're right, but you're wrong as well." So, yeah, don't worry about it, Wendy. We know that the weather is bad up where you are, and it's clearly affecting the signal. So don't worry too much about that. So, now, if you've got any questions for Wendy tonight, please come through to us here on our chat channel and leave a comment, and I will bring that across. And as Lynn is telling everybody tonight, share the show, get it out there. Wendy, what's your favorite meditation that you would use to, say, get yourself centered? Did you get that, my darling? I think we're really struggling here tonight. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen of the world. Wendy can see me, I can see her, but obviously the technology is being battered by Mother Nature. So, are you with us, Wendy? Can you hear me? Right. Well, we're getting Wendy in, and we'll get her refocused, get her back into the show. I want to talk about a technique that I'm going to teach you all. Okay. I'm going to give you something to do. Right. So what you're going to need is literally 2 pieces of A4 paper. So just 2 normal pieces of paper that you would use in a normal printer. 2 A4 sheets of paper. Okay. Now, this is something that I want you to do over the next few days, maybe over the weekend. All right. So here's what I want you to do. On sheet A, sheet B. So type on it sheet A, or just put the letter A and the letter B. So on sheet A, I want you to write the words, all the things I like about myself. Okay. So you're going to make a list of everything that you like about yourself. Now, now a lot of people will start to think about what they think other people like about you. That's not what this exercise is about. It's not about what other people think. It's about what you think about you. This is why, and only way that this will work is if you eliminate other people's thoughts. They don't come into it at the moment, right? So on sheet A, when you write across the heading, all the things I like about myself, I want you to list literally everything you like about yourself. So if you say, right, I like the color of my hair, then you write that down. I like the color of my eyes, you write that down. I like whatever it is. I like the fact that I'm a happy person. I like to sing. I like the sound of my voice. I don't care what it is. You write down everything you like about yourself. Okay, and you do not think to yourself, "Oh, I'm getting a wee bit ego-y." No, no matter what it is, because this is your exercise. And I'm talking not only to Wendy, I'm talking to everybody listening to us tonight throughout the world. So try this exercise out. I promise you this works. Okay, so you're making a list, all of the things I like about myself. Now, I will have said it 3, 4, half a dozen times. You will still try to think about what you think other people think about you. And that is not what's important here. It's only about what you think about you. Okay, so clearly we got letter A, sheet A, all the things I like about myself. So what's sheet B going to be? All the things I don't like about myself. Now, whatever that may be, you might think to yourself, I'm a little bit overweight. Okay, write it down. I don't like the length of my hair. Okay, write it down. Whatever it is, just get in there and write it down. And it doesn't matter, because once again, that it's not about it's your personal opinion about you. Okay, it's about what you think about you that's important. So you're writing down all of the great things that you like about yourself on sheet A, and on sheet B, all of the things you don't like about yourself. Now, as the days go on, you may sit there for about an hour, hour and a half, and you'll be writing things down. You will find that you may need a second, third, even fourth sheet for all of the things you like about yourself. But you may stop halfway down on sheet B, all of the things you don't like about yourself. Now, that's the important thing here. That's proof that you do like yourself, and it's a great idea, and continue to write them down. Now, there are two parts to this exercise. So you're sitting there writing things about yourself that you like, and also what you don't like. When you've finished, and you literally feel that you've finished the exercise, I want you to do it between now and Saturday. Okay? Because really Sunday is the beginning of the week. So I want you to, on Saturday night at midnight, okay, I want you to take the sheet that has all of the things on it that you don't like about yourself. I want you to take that out to the garden at the stroke of midnight and set fire to it and burn it. But I want you to see the smoke rising away from you and disappearing up into the ether and into the universe. And I want you to see it and let it go. Now, think about this, ladies and gentlemen of the world, and my darling friend Wendy. You have just burnt the sheet that all of the things that you don't like about yourself, right? What are you left with? What do you have in your possession? Come back to me. Come on, tell me what you think. What have you got left? Everybody's gone quiet. They're all thinking. Let me help you. You're left with the sheet of all of the things you like about yourself. Or the sheets. There should be multiples. So what I want you to do, if there are multiples of sheets, I want you to staple them together. I don't want you to put them on the fridge. On a magnet. All right? So every time you go to make a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or make some food and you open the fridge, you'll see recognition of the fact that of the things that you like about yourself. Now, other people will see this as well. So friends and family will go, what's this? And you go, well, I was doing an exercise that idiot Paul Francis told us to do. And it's a sheet about, all of the things that I like about myself. And on the Saturday night, we took out the stuff that I didn't like about myself, burnt it and let it go. And then people will read what you've written about, what you like about yourself, and they will start adding to that list. You haven't said this. You haven't said that. You haven't done this. You do this well. You do that well. You haven't put this down. And you'll be surprised at how that list will grow and grow and grow. And no, it's not an ego feeder. It's not. It is a principle system of helping you to gain confidence in yourself. Being aware of how good you are. Being aware of what other people think about you in such a positive way. And that energy will set you up to complete all of your goals of this year. Every single time you get a little bit wayward and think, oh, am I good enough? Look at that sheet of paper and realize you are good enough. You can achieve, and there is nothing that's not achievable. Any thoughts? I'd love to hear about your feedback, your thoughts. What do you think? Lynn says, I think I obtained my confidence and self-belief through stage work over the years of dancing and teaching. Yes, you're doing something that you love. Yes, indeed. Of course, you know, if you're doing something that you love and it's a part of what you do, then the energy, when you practice something you love, the energy you have is unfathomable. It's basically, you know, your confidence is there, and it lifts you and it moves you into a position of strength and power, and you'll be able to do it. When I've talked to my children and I say to them, you know, whatever career you choose, I don't mind what it is that you want to do, but whatever you do, make sure you love what you do. Okay, because once you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. So as Lynn has just put up there, I think I obtained my confidence through self-belief. I think I obtained my confidence and self-belief through stage work over the years of dancing and teaching. Ava has joined us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Ava. Lovely to see you, my darling. Welcome to the show. And there's my darling Wendy. She's in and out, but it's good to see that you're back. So what do you think about that exercise, Wendy? You think that exercise would work for you? Oh, she's still looking at me blindly, so I don't know if she's picking me up or not. I'm so sorry for all the people that are going through this heavy weather up north. Jean Prescott says, better now. Yes, and it's all down to the bad weather. And they're obviously literally having a lot of problems in the northeast. Yeah, so what do you have you ever done that exercise before? Have you ever tried that one? Oh, it's she's breaking out on us, which is sad. I'm sorry to hear that, my love. I'd love for my darling friend Trudy to come back, by the way. Come on, Trude, come back in. Where have you gone? So we're at 12:20 here in the UK tonight, and we're already over nearly an hour and a half way through the show. So, Trudy, there you are, darling. Did I teach you? Trudy is actually one of my students of old. And I can't remember whether I actually taught that particular technique to Trudy or not, actually, to be honest with you. My daughter dropped my smartphone in the toilet today, says Loretta. Oh, my goodness. And my whole world was on that phone, so I'm very depressed tonight. But I'll put it in rice, and so we'll see how it works out. Loretta, all of the data that's on your mobile phone can be found again, so don't worry too much about that. It can be brought back into play, and the tech companies will be able to fix it for you. Don't worry, Loretta. Okay, my beautiful daughter has told me that she has dropped the phone down the toilet because she's one of these ladies that have a tendency to carry their phone in their back pocket. Something I think is a silly thing to do, but anyway, a lot of ladies carry it in their back pocket, and she sat down on a loo and it fell out of her back pocket into said loo. So, Rosie, don't carry your phone in your back pocket, my darling. I've told you that a million times. Trudy says I've done that ritual before with you. Yes, there you go. So Wendy, I don't know if you've actually heard of that particular technique, or if you've ever tried that particular ritual of the burning of the negatives. Have you ever tried that? And just as I ask her, she freezes. So, give me your feedback, ladies and gentlemen of the world. Come in here to the chat room and tell me what you think. Trudy, what was your results? And yes, Lynn has done it as well. So, what was your results? What have you done in relation to when you did the actual exercise? How did it work for you? What did you do? What did you feel? It's good to see so many people into the room, by the way. It's it's amazing. I've got both rooms and they're full of people. Wendy, are you back with us? Can you hear us okay now? No. Bless her. She's obviously having serious. Hopefully she'll either come back in or join us in the chat room. And if you can't hear us, Wendy, maybe you want to flip over to your cell phone. Try it on your cell phone. See if that helps out. If that does that. I was very surprised. I'm just going to bring that up so everybody else can see it. There we go. I was very surprised by how much I realized I liked myself. Well, I've known Trudy. Oh my goodness gracious me! I don't want to say the years that I've known Trudy for, because we've known each other a long, long, long time. And I was, I was very much aware of your bouncy personality and your infinite drive. That's something that I've always been able to sort of, over half a lifetime. I know, darling. Your infinite drive is something that I've always been, very much in admiration of, because you don't let things get you down, and if you get onto that slippery slope, you pull up you pull in your belt and you get on with it, and that's something that's motivated me many, many, many times over and over. So, Trudy, you are a very driven and motivated person. In fact, Trudy was part of our Ghost Hunting team in times gone by, so I do hope that she takes that challenge up again as we move into 2023. Speaking of which, Wendy, are you going to be doing any she's just literally every time I ask Wendy a question, she disappears. So I was having this problem with Roger, if you remember, guys, some time back. So hopefully we'll have Roger back on in a few weeks' time. I'd like to have Roger and Faye to come onto the show again, and we'll have a good old chat. Now, hopefully this time we'll be able to get it so that when I ask them a question, they can answer me. Are you with us, Went? Are you with us tonight? Do you want to say almost to see if Wendy's with us? Okay, I'm gonna actually see if I can actually bring on Trude as well. See if that will work as well. I don't want to be doing dead air here tonight as well, because that's when I'm trying to do multiples of things, that it throws me into a bit of a tizzy, and I end up getting a bit sort of messed up here. To let you know, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to us tonight, United Public Radio Network, and that's thanks to the lovely Michelle and the lovely Amelia, and of course Joe, on United Public Radio Network, 105.3 and 107.7 FM, live from the beautiful New Orleans. Now, Wendy, can you hear us? And she's going to be coming back to me going, oh, I'm really sorry, but it went all wrong. Don't be sorry. You can't control the weather, and we can't control technology.
I can hear you right then, yeah.
Oh, you can hear us? That's good. It's in what, darling? No, we're having. I'm going to keep Wendy linked on the show so she can come in and out when she's able to. As I say, we're 3/4 of the way through the show. I can't believe how quickly it rockets past. Wendy, I'm going to give you an opportunity to. Can you jump in? Can you chat? Can you make the link? Unless you'll not be able to do it. Trudy, I've sent you a link to come and say hello on the show as well. I'd love to talk to you about our old days doing some ghost hunting.
I can't hear anything, Paul. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Don't worry about it when it's just tech. So don't worry about it. We'll get you back on the show again, and I'm very grateful for the very fact that you've taken the time out to be on the show in the first place. Thank you so very much. We'll get you back on again when the weather's calmed down a bit, and we'll go. We'll go through this all again and talk about the teachings that we're going to be doing. So it's really bad. Don't worry about it. I'll tell you what you can do though.
Outside, it's really bad.
It's belting down. So I mean, it is clearly affecting the signals tonight. So don't worry about it. We'll get you back on again next week, the week after, and we'll do exactly the same thing. We'll chat to everybody out there, and they can chat with you as well. So as I say, we're zooming through the show at a rapid rate of knots. I was telling everybody about the clearing, which is available to you all on my YouTube channel. So get on there, and it's a free meditation download, and it will help you. Okay, it's very, very easy to do, but as Wendy was saying to you, don't try and do it in one go. It won't work. It literally won't work. And if you're new to meditation, I can guarantee you, if you go into a meditative state, be it early in the morning or late at night, the likelihood of you falling asleep is very high. Okay, very high. Okay, so it's a good idea to go into, when you're going to do a meditation, to be aware of what time you're starting and what time you want to finish. Okay, and by that being is like, if you've got to go and pick up little Johnny from school, set yourself an alarm, so if you do fall asleep, at least you're going to be woken up in time to pick your kids up from school. Meditations, like any other techniques, have to be practiced. Okay, you probably won't get them in the first go, so when you do that meditation, do it over and over and over. So when you've got the clearing sorted, why don't you take the time to go onto my YouTube channel and have a look at a series that I posted up there a couple of years back. I did a series called Moments. Okay, there are about 16 episodes of Moments, and on each episode there is a meditation. Okay, so there are 16 meditations that are available for you to be able to use as well. So, okay, and again, all free of charge. Now that leads me to one other thing. We're in the studios at the moment, currently recording a new set of meditations specifically designed. Now these will be downloadable, but they are going to be done, and they're going to be at a cost, so you'll be able to download them onto your computer or onto your cell phone or whatever it is you want to keep them. We're not going to be putting them on a physical. In other words, we're not going to be putting them on CD initially. Okay, but we will be setting them up so you can have them on a download. And equal to that, there will be a recorded and filmed seminar of teaching that you'll be able to purchase. And we basically, what we do is we put them onto a recording device, and we send you like a mini hard drive. Okay, and you will have all of the meditations and me teaching you. Now the good thing about that, and the reason why I agreed to that, is you are able to have me teach you the same lesson over and over and over, rather than being at a seminar where I'm teaching you once and then the end of the seminar and we go our separate ways. With the filmed teaching seminars, you'll be able to rewatch that particular teaching event back over and over and over. So that is something we're currently in the process of working on as well. So I really, really want you to take the time out to give that exercise a go. So 2 A4 sheets of paper. Trudy was saying that her phone won't let her in. Sorry, darling. So I'd love for you to come on and have a chat. But so 2 A4 sheets of paper, A and B. On sheet A, all of the things you like about yourself, and on sheet B, all of the things you don't like about yourself. So once you think you've exhausted both, and you probably need 2 or 3 sheets of paper for all of the things you like about yourself, but you probably won't even use one up for all the stuff you don't like. Now, you basically take that piece of paper out at the end of the exercise, be that exercise 1, 2, 3 days. In this case, I'm saying do it over the next couple of days and aim for Saturday night. So on Saturday night, at the stroke of midnight, take it outside safely and carefully and set fire to that piece of paper with all of the things you don't like about yourself. Watch the paper burn, turn into smoke, and disappear off into the ether, and let it go. That's the key principle. Then, of course, you're left with all of the things you do like about yourself. Staple all of those pieces of paper together, put them on a fridge magnet, and leave them on the fridge. So every time you go to make yourself a drink or some food, you're reminded of all of the things you do like about yourself. That being said, other people, other friends, family will also read this, and they will say, "Oh my goodness, did you write that about yourself? Did you aware about this? Did you see that? Did you see that?" And they will, you will find that they will start adding to it. Have I got my pal Trudy? Yes, I have. Hello, Trude.
Hello.
Look at you with your long blonde hair. Looking like crystal tips.
I forgot.
How are you feeling, my darling? How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
You're looking great. I know you went through a little bit of a medical scare a little while back, but it's good to see you're looking fantastic.
Yeah, I went down the herbal route to try and sort myself out, so it's going well at the moment.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, all the people around the world be listening to your voice right now, and they'll be going, "Oh my God, I love her accent." Trudy is a Cornish girl, true and true, and I've known, gosh, literally, how long have we known each other for?
35 years.
It's got to be at least 35 years, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've been here 38 years, so that would make, or 39 years now. That would make, 35. What happened to the time?
Blink.
The fact that Trudy's on here and chatting and we can hear you clear as a bell, it just goes to show that unfortunately the weather up country was really knocking Wendy back, which is a bit sad, because she had a lot to share with us, but obviously the weather was knocking her back. So Trude, you've gone to quite a few different teachers, which is, if you remember, it's something that I used to actually endorse. I used to say, go back and go with different teachers and try out different techniques.
Yeah.
And Wendy's just come back in again. There she is. Hey, Wend. Oh, we're still having that issue. So Trudy, tell us about the herbal things that you were going through to help.
Well, I was talking to a friend of mine who also has horses, and he said he sees this particular woman about issues that he's had in the past and recommended her. And I always prefer to go to someone who's been recommended. So I sent her an email and had an appointment, and she's really helped me a lot quicker and a lot. So the results were better than expected in the first week.
Wow!
And I saw her a month ago. I saw results within a week, and I've really improved so much. I'd recommend it to anyone. So, and
what can you remember what kind of herbs you were using?
She sent me the herbs. I know there's chamomile in there. I don't know what else is in there, but it's doing the job. So,
well, you know what? I'm very, very glad, because I was really worried about you, because obviously, we've known each other for such a long, long time, and you're a very dear friend of mine. And because you live away out I'll be very focused on what I'm saying here. You live away out in a very rural area. I can't get the opportunity to come up and see you, but seeing you on screen here, which is everybody, all of the other people who are listening to on the FM radio obviously can't see, but it's so great to see you looking well. But it's also so good to share with all of the people of the world that the old ways and the old herbs and herbs are still something that to be, taken on board and really focused upon. And Wendy does a lot of that work herself, and it was one of the areas that I wanted to bring into play.
Well, a lot of my issue, because So obviously you know, but nobody else knows that this time last year I was in hospital having emergency surgery.
Yeah.
And a lot of the issues I've had since then, I've not wanted to go back to doctors or hospitals about, really, because a lot of them were caused by the drugs I was given while I was in hospital.
Right.
I'm not one to put drugs into my system if I can help it anyway.
You sure about that?
Okay. Medicinal drugs. What do you say?
Everybody around the world's just thinking now, going, what does he mean? You see, way back when Trudy and I first were introduced to each other, I was very, very young, and I was very, very fit and thin, and I was in rock band, and so Trudy used to come and listen to us as we performed on a regular basis. So when I say, "Are you sure about the drugs?" And look, but before everybody else goes, "Oh my God!" We're talking about alcohol here, nothing else. Okay, we were very, very, very good people, weren't we, Trude?
Oh, of course.
So Wend, are you able to link in now? Because your signal looks a lot better. All right, so we can't. I can see you, but you can't hear us. We can't hear you either. So you've either muted yourself, or you've muted everything, so we can't hear or see you. Oh, sorry, we can see you, but we can't hear you. So while you're figuring that out, I'll go back to Trude. Do you remember the good old days of the ghost hunting? We had some excellent results, didn't we? We had some amazing stuff, table tipping and things of that nature. Do you remember?
Toilets flushing themselves, and yes.
And being given the run of a pub one night. Do you remember that one?
Yes, I had a very strong experience in one of those pubs. Yes.
Yeah, share.
Well, the pub we did in Penryn. I had it was like a film playing out in front of me, and then for the landlord afterwards to basically agree that with everything that I'd learned.
Yeah.
So that was quite good. And the pub that was closed down that we went into for the night, that was very interesting.
Yes.
That's been made into flats now, so that was very haunted, and now it's flat, so I'm not sure I want to live there.
What a shame that, because that was right next to a church. Yes. And I got one of the best photographs I'd ever taken in the church. Remember, we had a wee break from the pub, and we all piled into the church graveyard, and I took a couple of snaps. And there was this amazing mist just making its way around the headstones. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Now, Trudy has been one of my students as well, and an amazing student. But it's funny how I have Wendy Kirby and I've got Trudy on, and it's amazing how both of you are very, very good, but both of you have the same self-doubt. I was just looking at you both thinking, oh my God, they've got both the same self-doubt. Because I used to say to Trudy, do a reading for that person. And you'd be like, well, I do the reading, and you wouldn't do it. But I knew you had it because I could feel it, you know. But we had such great times. But it's like I said at the beginning of the show, if you all remember, some people will train and do all of the work and understand and learn, but never become working mediums. And that's fine. Working psychics, for that matter, and that's fine. But at least you learn how to develop and practice. Now, where you could turn around and literally look at this on a really different perspective and say, if Trudy didn't get up and learn all this stuff, she wouldn't have been introduced to this herbal stuff, which is now making her healthy. So the pathway that leads out in front of me doesn't always necessarily lead to becoming a practicing psychic or a practicing medium or both, but it can lead you into an area that can do you so much good. And I'm so happy to see Trudy looking so well. This is a girl, by the way, who's about 4'6" and rides horses that look like they can run through a wall. I mean, I'm scared she come on up and ride. No, no, I'll ride it. I'll fly an airplane upside down, 20 feet off the ground, and I have no worries about doing that. But getting onto a horse, that's no. Nah, I don't think so.
I have hit the floor more times than I'd like to admit.
Well, that's even more. There's a few people who's joined us on the show tonight, by the way. Diki, I don't know how to pronounce your full name, but Diki, welcome to the show. And Jenny Kaiser, welcome to the show. Lovely to see you. Clearly, Wendy is being so battered by the wind and rain up there because she's in and out of the show, which I'm so sad to say. But anyway, we will be bringing her back on. But I'm glad you've come on. I can't believe the length of your hair now, Trude. Look at that. That's just, my goodness.
Well, I think COVID sort of started it because I only used to get it cut once every 2 years. And then COVID hit. So it's been 4-5 years since it's been cut now.
Yeah.
But
it's I don't remember it being that long. So it's so good to be able to talk to you tonight. It's almost like I've forgotten about the show and we're doing a catch up.
Yes.
Well, we will do that anyway because we did say we would do that. So I will come up and see you. We are literally coming up to the end of the show. But Trudy, you're coming into the show tonight. You've come on off the cuff, but this wasn't even planned. You've done this just as a last minute, and I appreciate you doing it. Have you got to get up for work in the morning, by the way?
Oh, yes.
So you're going to get.
I've got to get up and do the horses first, and then go to work. Yes.
What time's the horses?
6.
Oh my goodness! So in 5 hours' time, you got to get up again.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, I suppose probably the good news is we're pretty much at the end of the show. Trudy, listen, thank you, and I'm so glad you've come on and you've taught people tonight, whether you know it or not. You've taught people tonight to look into the world of herbs and herbal remedies.
Can I just say,
yeah,
when I was in your classes,
yeah,
I'd sort of only just learnt what I could do, and it was all very new to me, and I felt that I wanted to say to everyone that this thing should come with some sort of guide, because I don't know what I'm doing. There's no instruction manual. I know I can do things, but there's no instruction manual. How do I do these things?
Yeah.
And I think after your classes, stepping away from it and learning about myself for a few years, I think now it's time to step back in, because now I'm in a place where I'll benefit from your teaching more.
Right. That makes it. That's a really good perspective. I like that. That's a really great perspective. So I think when I'm teaching you, it's a matter of literally just dusting off the cobwebs and just realigning and answering questions with you, and just reintroducing you to teaching techniques, and that's pretty much all I need to do with you. But if you remember what I was teaching you as a student in developing and practicing your techniques, that came into play big time when we were doing our paranormal investigations as well. So your connection to spirit was there, but also your ability to protect yourself against other energies within that realm. So it is a kind of like, for those people who want to say take up paranormal investigations, people who, because that sort of seems to be sweeping the globe. Oh, I want to be a ghost hunter. Right, great, fine. Why not? In fact, I think most people should, because it really becomes the reason I took it up, it was to prove life carries on. That's why I became a paranormal investigator, to show that life carries on. And if I'm doing readings, which people sit and listen to me rattle on reads, time after time after time, that's all well and good. But if I can show physical evidence of this as well, then we're into a different ballpark. Okay. And if you bring the two combinations together, it just makes things stronger and better. So you had the benefit of both, Trude. I mean, Wendy has done the same as us, but she did it in her own area and her own part of the world. But the fact that not that I'm saying I'm a good teacher or anything like that, but the fact that I was able to say, right, okay, let me show you that manual. Let me give you that manual, and let me take away some of the, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, but let me take you some of the old world rubbish that you don't really need. And it is old world crap, and you know, the mysticisms that you're able to discover more about who you are as a person. That's what this is about. It's about personal development. So that's why you heard me say that more, personal development rather than psychic development or mediumship. It really is about personal development, because the more you develop as a person, the more you become developed and in your psychic and medium abilities as well. But you were always very, very good. You just would never believe it. That was my trouble.
I learned a lot from you as well, Paul. I learned an awful lot from you from watching your videos through the years. I mean, we've known each other like almost 2 decades now. And when you were doing the radio thing back then, and then you were doing the paranormal and that, you always used to talk about it, but you were in a teaching way. You made it simple for people. You didn't complicate it. That is what people can relate to.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be. One of the nicest feedbacks that I got about my books were when people are reading my books, they say, it sounds like you're talking to us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That was one of the best feedbacks I got. My dear friends, both of you, my goodness, Wendy's coming on now. It's working clearly now.
I know.
Listen,
finally, and it's the end.
Well, we'll definitely be coming on the show again, and well, Trudy has, as I say, I've known her for a long, long time, and she's going to be part of the paranormal team again. So you'll probably hear a lot more from Trudy as well, and Lynn, of course, as well. But I have to call it a night now because we're literally at the end. And Trudy, you're up in 5 hours, love. Just to remind you.
Yeah.
She's glowing, isn't she? She's glowing. You're looking really well, Trudy.
Thank you.
One thing about Trudy that I always remember was she was always tanned.
It's the outdoor life.
What time of the year it was? It could have been like now, January. She was tanned. I used to hate that about her because I'm kind of like more of a blue color. I'm a true Celt. It takes me a week of sunbathing just to get white. So, ladies, thank you for giving me your time tonight. I genuinely, totally appreciate it. Thank you so very, very much. I'm looking forward to bringing you both back on again, and again very, very soon. Wendy, we'll do it again because you know we'll get you to talk about all of the things that we were going to talk about before, on whether beat us back. But that's the way life is, guys. Thank you very much, Trudy. Go to bed.
Yes, sir.
God bless, darling.
And I'll see you both very, very soon. All right. Thanks for being on.
Good night. God bless everyone.
God bless you guys.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye. Ladies and gentlemen of the world, thank you so very much. You are listening to me tonight on United Public Radio Network 105.3 and 107.7 FM, coming to you live from the stunning, beautiful New Orleans. No matter where you are listening to me tonight, thank you for being here. Please, please, please continue to share the show. I'll be back with you next Thursday at 12 on the 12th for Spirit Quest. But if you want to, I'd love to invite you to come and join me on the 9th, on Monday the 9th at 8 p.m. UK time for Reach Across Live with me, your host, Paul Francis, where I'll be doing lots of reads and we'll talk about a little bit more about the development process. But stick around, ladies and gentlemen, for the Outer Realm, which is going to be hosted by the amazing Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano. They're going to be coming up very shortly, right after this show. Have a wonderful day tomorrow and an amazing weekend. And until I see you, remember, communicate, appreciate, and validate everybody in your life so a medium never has to do it for you. Okay? Take the time out of your day just to tell those around you just how important they are to you so a medium doesn't have to do it. All right? And remember, take time out every day just for you. I wish you a wonderful and amazing 2023. Have confidence in yourself that you will reach every and any goal you set for yourself, and I promise you a great year. Until I see you again, good night, God bless. Thank you so very, very much.